Hello everyone and greetings from Crochet. Today we're going to be making these adorable baby girl booties. This is for 0 to 3 months old baby, and for this project I used two different weights of yarn. The first one is by Loops and Thread, weight 4 category yarn, and it's called Soft and Shiny. And the contrasting yarn is by Loops and Thread, but it is category 3 yarn, and it is Delicate DK Acrylic Blend. For both of these yarns I used 3.5 millimeters crochet hook. Not much needed for this project. We also need a measuring tape, few stitch markers, pair of scissors, darning needle, and a lot of goodwill and creativity and patience. So without further ado, let's begin. So make a slip knot and chain 10. And 10. So now in the second stitch, so not this one here, this is the first one, the second, put 2 half double crochets in that stitch. I'm gonna mark my first stitch, which is this one here. So have half double crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and 7, and work 6 half double crochets into the last chain. And now we're going to repeat this on the other side. So tighten your last stitch, and working over your tail, we're going to go in here. So this is your very first stitch right here, not here, but right here. So 7 half double crochets, one more, and into the same stitch where these two initial half double crochets are coming out of. That's this one here. Right here we're going to place 2 half double crochets, so to match the beginning of our work. Okay, we're going to slip stitch into this first half double crochet. For round 2, chain 1, and into that same space, so right here, we're going to put 2 half double crochets. Replace the stitch marker. Now do 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, and then 7 half double crochets into the next 7 stitches. So that 2, So into the next 6 stitches we're going to put two half double crochets in each. So repeat from the other side. So it's going to be 7 half double crochets going down this side. And now we have 2 stitches left. In each we will put 2 half double crochets. And slip stitch. Chain 1, and we're going to go to the next stitch. So put 2 half double crochets in this stitch, and 1 half double crochet into the next one. Then again 2 half double crochets into this stitch and 1 half double crochet into the next. Now we're going to do 7 half double crochets. Now we're going to do alternating 2 and 1 half double crochets 6 times, so over 12 stitches. So 2, half double crochets in one stitch and then 1 into the next one, so that's 1 time. Now we're going to do 7 half double crochets. So we got 3 stitches remaining, and we're going to alternate 2 and 1 half double crochet. So do 2 half double crochets in this stitch, 1 into the next one, 2 into the last stitch, and then we will put 1 more in here. So that's that, and you would slip stitch into this first half double crochet. So if I measure it, it should be no more than 10 centimeters, and mine is slightly over 9.5, and in inches 3.75. Okay, I'm going to switch now to the lighter weight yarn, which is weight 3, and I'm going to be working in the back loops only. I have 2 ways of doing this. So let's start the first one with the simpler option, which is working in the back loops only. Pull up your yarn, chain 1, and into the next stitch, into the back loop only, do half double crochet and continue on till the end of the row. So this is what you would get. You kind of get this little toothy, if you will, edges, which is cute, but I prefer it this way. So it's less visible. The transition is less visible, and I'll show you how to do this. It's just a bunch of back post half double crochets. So to do that, you are working in these posts. So these are the posts in these spaces. However, you are going first from the back to front and then from the front to back. So you're grabbing that post and working around the post. So grab your yarn, insert your hook from the back to front and then front to back. Grab your yarn and pull through those 2 stitches. Chain 1, yarn over, and now again you are going to that very first stitch, grabbing the other stitch, yarn through both, and half double crochet. Again, going through this stitch here to the next one, pull the yarn up, and half double crochet again through this one, and then that one, and half double crochet. I'm almost at the end. You can easily see which post you worked around because they have this yellow thread or yarn underneath the shoe sole. And we still need to do this one here. And that's that. We're going to slip stitch to our first half double crochet. For this round, we're going to do a round of half double crochet. So starting into the same space as chain 1 space, we're going to do half double crochets all the way around. And I'll meet you there. Around, slip stitch to the first half double crochet, chain 1. So when I put my little shoe on the table, you can see how it stands solid and upright, and it really looks pretty. All right, so now we're gonna have to mark our stitches to decrease the toe of the shoe. So put your shoe in half, and now you will see that we have stitches going this way and that way. So starting with this side, I'm going to count 10 stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And into the 10th stitch, I will put a stitch marker. So from this point, we're going to count 20 stitches. So that's what we need for decreases. So 2, 4. And into the 20th stitch, place the stitch marker. Let's start with the next stitch and place a half double crochet in that space. So half double crochet all the way to the 1 stitch before the stitch marker. This 1 stitch before the stitch marker, we're going to put double crochet, remove the stitch marker, and now we're going to start with our decreases. Decrease is 2 double crochets together. So drive your hook inside the first into the first stitch, pull up a yarn. Do not finish your double crochet, but only go through the first 2 loops. Now grab the yarn again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up that yarn, and go through the first 2 loops. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. Pull up a yarn, or go through all 3 stitches. So again, go through 2, go through 2 loops on the hook, and then go through all 3. This is my last decrease. Remove your stitch marker and double crochet 2 together. Now do 1 double crochet and then half double crochet to the end. Remove your stitch marker and slip stitch. So for this round, find your very first double crochet. They look like a little inverted V. So find that first one and then into that stitch before. So not this stitch, but this one here. Put a stitch marker. Go to the last one right here and then put the stitch marker not right before the V stitch, but the one before, after that. So this is going to be where the increases will be. So let's count those stitches. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 13. This means that we will double crochet 2 together 3, and then we will make 1 double crochet in the center. So we may want to mark that one as well. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases. So this is our center stitch in which we will put stitch marker. So we know that the only 1 double crochet will go into this stitch, and then we have 2, 4, 6 again. Chain 1 into the next stitch, half double crochet, and then half double crochet to the 1 stitch before the stitch marker. And then the stitch just before the stitch marker, this one here, will be a double crochet. Remove the stitch marker, and now we'll do decreases until we reach our marker. So we've come to the stitch marker, so we're going to remove it and put 1 double crochet into that stitch. And we're going to continue with our, so this, be careful, because this stitch is now coming out of this stitch. So we're going to go to the next one and do 1. And this is going to be our 3rd decrease. We're going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then half double crochet to the end. Okay, remove your stitch marker and slip stitch. For the last round of decreases, we are going to mark and start working just before our decreases from the previous row. We're going to do 4 decreases. So where the V is, right here, I'm going to mark that stitch right there. Go to the next or the last V, which is right here, and I'm going to mark that stitch here. Now let's count our stitches, including the ones that are marked. So 2, 4, 6, and 8. So we're going to decrease 8 stitches. So chain 1 and into the same space put half double crochet and then half double crochet all the way to the stitch markers, and then we will do our decreases. So I'm at the 1 stitch before the stitch marker, so I'm going to put a double crochet into that stitch and then start my 4 double crochet 2 together decreases. And then our last double crochet 2 together decrease. Make 1 double crochet and do half double crochets to the end. This is our last round, so chain 3 into that same space, double crochet, and continue doing 1 double crochet into each stitch around. This is my last stitch or my last double crochet, and slip stitch to the top of chain 3 from the previous row. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. I think it looks pretty darn cute for little baby feet. Okay, you're gonna have to also hide your tails on the inside of the shoe, and then we're gonna do the flower together. So chain 1 and single crochet into the magic circle. So that's 1, we need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gently pull this yarn to close the circle, but not all the way. Leave it kind of loose. We are going to slip stitch into the first single crochet. I should have probably marked it. It would have been easier to find it. All right. Cut your yarn. And now with the contrasting yarn, we're going to do our petals, or petals, I should say. So into the very first stitch, pull your yarn through. And let's start our petal. So chain 1 and single crochet, and we're working into the same space. Make 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet. This is all in the same space. 1 half double crochet and a single crochet. Insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a yarn and single crochet. 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet. So that's our sequence. There. So that's our little flower. I leave these strands longer so I can attach my flower to the shoe. So something like this. With the yellow yarn, I like to be on either side of the center of the flower. So this one is going to the left, and so is this one. So I want to bring this longer one to here. And the way to do so is to use either yellow or purple yarn, and then making sure that you're not getting to the front of the flower. Always double check. Pull that yarn, and I'm gonna go and try to end here. So through this petal, I think that's good enough. Okay, so now I have my yarns on the opposite sides. To attach the flower, look for these two middle double crochet 2 together decreases just below the row of double crochets that we made as the last row. So right below it should be these 2 central double crochet 2 togethers. So I'm going to go and insert one of my tails of the flower into middle here and the other one here, and I'm going to do that with my crochet hook. So the way I do it is get your hook in the middle of that stitch. Now grab your string and drive it through. And now we're going to need to do the same with the other one. So find that second 2 double crochet 2 together so that the V looking like stitch. Drive it through. Grab the second strand or tail and pull it through. Okay. So now we can tie our flower in the back. I think that just looks adorable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the shoe inside out, and I'm going to tie this just once in case I don't like the placement. So let's flip it back again, and that's perfect, just perfect, and it's in the middle. So flip it back again and grab those 2 strands again, and now you can tie it 3 or 4 times. So I made some twisted cord. There are some very good videos on YouTube as to how to make twisted cord from yarn or any other material. And what I'm going to try and do now is thread it through. So I'm going to start through the flower, which is why I said not to tighten it too much. And then we're going to be looking for these 3 middle stitches. And I'm going to drive my needle through the middle of the flower. Not all the way through the fabric, but inside this stitch, and then let's do 2 stitches next. So you can see that my needle is very big. It's a tapestry needle, so my cord has obviously a little knot here. So this is to make sure that the knot can go through the needle. Now go another 2 stitches and 2 stitches and another 2 stitches. So we're going to have to make sure to come out here. So we might need to adjust the stitches, but let me just try. If I go by 2 stitches and 2 stitches, and I think this is good enough. I'm going to go through the middle of the flower and draw it through. Okay, so I think this looks really neat and decorative. So hold these 2 ends and then kind of pull it, but not to singe it. So what's really cute now is that we can tie a bow, and then we have this beautiful flower in the background, and this will help keep these booties on baby's feet, because we know babies kick all the time and tend to take the shoes off. So I think I'm going to shorten my lace ends a little bit more. So I'm going to tie a knot here. And then cut my ends. So our project is now done. I really don't think that they could have turned out any cuter than they are. Beautiful work that we did today. I specifically like this flower and the shoelace coming out of the flower. It's very decorative. I think these little booties will stay really well on the baby's feet. And I enjoyed making them, and I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Please subscribe, like, or both if you did enjoy this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments section. And until our next project together, stay well, everyone.